Hello folks, so welcome to my Artefact explanation videos. So this Artefact is a framework that aims to support game designer and developers that have concern or trouble in UI design. This Artefact was created from Unreal Engines. So a user can enter the play mode to explore the level and also can go into the content browser to check for visual scripting. And this might seem familiar to an example that was on Epic Games, the context sample project. It's because this framework was developed based on that framework. And some similarities would be you also have the UI contents, but the framework on here will have a more advanced UI information than the context samples project. And so when you enter the play level, user can see two separate locations. So on the left hand side, we'll be more focusing on the technical support. So it shows here the progress bar, the buttons, and the HUD. And on the right hand side here will be more on the visual support. So on the color choosing, queries, and the measurements that we about UI components that on looks. So on the left hand side here, so first go into the HUD. When player go into those booths, they can see the screen here to show the information on the booths shown in here. So it includes some videos on tutorials and examples that the context sample doesn't have. As videos will be showing more better examples, say as UI has a variable changing and updating. So video demonstration would be a better option to show user how does the UI change in game. And it also includes videos saying how you can implement it, the widget blueprints here. So for example, the HUD, how you can set up the HUD thing. And the project here is different from the ones that on the context samples, as I'm using a more efficiency blueprint implementation than the one was a traditional using bindings. So when people's work into group projects on like games, have an efficiency way would be a better option. So have a better version controls and more onto the understanding of this node can do. So on the progress bar here, say you can see I have some examples on the progress bar that was the in-game built one and also the custom one. So user can interact with it and see the variable changing, and also here's too. So also the videos that was having showing how you can implement the progress bar in a different way other than using a binding. And also an example is to show how when you try to do the custom progress bar here is a material. So if user get interested on a custom progress bar or other custom widget blueprints, they could get into this, open this link and check up on the UI material lab that was also on the Epic Games to see the materials creations. The buttons here also show you how the buttons work, but the different things on compared with the Unreal Engine context examples, the buttons I'm using here was a widget instead of like a UI components. So there's a video showing like how you can create like a widget buttons, and the benefit of doing this way was creating a static widget that you just need to change the function when you don't need to keep on creating new buttons on the one widget. So if you set up the style on that buttons, the only thing you need to do is to just change the function. So it reduces more complex work when you create the widget or the UI, like in pause menu or in the main menu. So this would be the visual explanation on measurements. So the location, if you want to put your UI component, UI widget, where you're gonna put it. So this will be the golden ratio. So that's from the art and design perspective. So as you can see here, that's an example here. Say what you put on the main content and the sub content, and this the whole framework, entire framework. The widgets shown up here also followed by this golden ratio measurements too. And the anchor point is kind of like familiar to people have using like in game engines, especially on like Unreal, because also it's up here on the Unity too. So anchor point is really saying like mark out the widget, the location. So when designer want to have the widget on the right, it just stick onto the right. So you want on the left, just stick onto the left. So this also is in the context example, but I have a more advanced one. Instead of just going left or right, in center, top, bottom left, just change, say more interactive with the user. And the photo third is from the photography perspective on measurements. So if you have some UI elements that you want to locate, where you're gonna locate it. And here's have a guide say if you have some very important widget components that you want the players to saw in the first sight, put on the left, the top left, as because the user focus is at 41%. And if you put it on the bottom right, player won't realize that because as you can see here, it shows the user focus only have 40%. So it gives the user like an image say where they're gonna locate the UI in the screen. And here's the color theory. So I have one of the my own UI projects show the color example on color choice, and these are the interactive buttons to show the change on the color screen. So when user get enter into it and say what color should I choose, here's a good example here saying I can choose this color match, and it show why you choose this color match or color choice and this combination. So maybe on this combination, why? Because the three colors from the triangle can like maintain the harmony and a high contrast. So based on the user what they're trying to do on the UI, they can check on the color scheme and see which combinations will be the best for them. So this is the whole framework when user enter the play mode. So when player exit the play mode, they can go into the content browser and look into these folders here. Each folder have the widget blueprints that contain all the elements here, even on the blueprints not. And every single widget blueprint contain the widget not and also the comments to explain what does this do. So it gives a better image for user when they want to know more about the widget blueprints not. What does this do? They can read the comment and say, I know now what does this do, and get a more better understandings. So the whole framework was really the information in there was really controlled by two things. So the structure here would be the title, the subtitle, the information, the image, and the data tables that was from according to the structure here. So these are the information I put it in here. And the good thing about this is because I don't need to go into each widget one by one and to every single text component and type in here. I just go into the tables here and just link these information to the text components here. So I have a better version control on data managing by using table and struct. And that's an extra blueprints that showed some very extra advanced nodes that you can use on UI. For example, some like format testing, a comment saying what does this do, some maybe to text to change the integer amount of like maximum integer and the minimum integer. These things can be like help players to maybe help user to have more flavor when they try to design the UI. And this is the whole entire framework artifact I have for now. So thank you for listening.